Okay, welcome back. This is our final installment of our lecture on Lily, Rosemary, and the Jack of Hearts. Finishing the song here, right now. Jack has disappeared. He's gone. We need to ask, where did he go? And we're thinking about who might have killed Jim and why. Finally, the end of the song. It's a bittersweet moment. I'm glad we're finishing it, but I'm sad it's the end of the song because I love this song so much. I wish it could last forever. The cabaret was empty now. A sign said closed for repair. Lily had already taken all of the dye out of her hair. She was thinking about her father, whom she very rarely saw, thinking about Rosemary and thinking about the law. But most of all, she was thinking about the Jack of Hearts. Lily, back to Lily now. Jim's dead. Rosemary is about to be dead. She's about to hang by the neck until dead. Jack has disappeared, and now we're left with Lily. And Lily is taking the dye out of her hair. If you take dye out of your hair, what do? You change the color. And if you change your hair color, you change your appearance. You look different. If you come in next week with purple hair, I'm going to say, wow, you look different. Your hair is purple. She's changing her hair color, changing her appearance. And again, we have to always ask that question, why? Why is she doing this? And why is Bob Dylan telling us this if it's not important? I think these are clues. Why do you think she's changing her hair color? Change her life? Maybe. Maybe. We'll come back to it. She's thinking about her father, whom she very rarely saw. So when you think about your father, what do you think? Maybe go home, right? Maybe I should go home, see Dad. I haven't seen my dad in a long time. So it looks like she wants to go home, right? Thinking, what should we say here? Maybe go home. Which means get out of town, right? Leave this town, go home. She's thinking about Rosemary. Now, we know where Rosemary is. Rosemary's up on the gallows. She's about to hang for murder. So what is Lily thinking? Well, maybe she sees Rosemary and she thinks, you poor woman. You know, first of all, you're married to Jim, and I know what Jim is like because I've been with Jim, and I know he's a pig. You know what I mean? Maybe she feels that. She feels like, I can understand how terrible it must have been for you to be married to this guy. Or maybe she thinks, you poor woman, he pushed you to the point where you had to kill him. I feel so sorry for you. This is so sad, your story. But maybe she sees Rosemary, she's laughing. Maybe she's thinking, look at you, you're gonna die. You're gonna hang for something you didn't do. Right? They got the wrong woman, but too bad for you, you're gonna hang. You didn't kill him, but you're gonna hang. Maybe she's thinking that, we don't know. She's thinking about the law. What do you think this means? You think she's thinking, oh, the justice system is so good, catching guilty people and hanging them? You think it's like that? I don't. I think she's worried about something. What might she be worried about? Well, I think she's worried about getting caught for something. I think she sees, look, the hanging judge is awake here. Justice is here. People are getting caught, and people are getting the death penalty. People are getting hung, and I don't want to get hung. I don't want to get caught. I've done things. Remember, she looks like she's hiding things, right? Looks like she's up here hiding something in her dressing room, maybe a hollow hole in the wall, hiding the dress. Her behavior is suspicious. Looks like she's hiding things. And maybe she just wants to get out of town, right? Looks like she wants to escape justice. Right? She doesn't want to get caught. I think she's done something wrong. The bank robbery, I think, looks like she's involved to me. You might disagree, but I think it looks bad for her. The murder of Jim, did she do it? Maybe. Maybe, but it looks like she's afraid. She's afraid of getting caught. So she wants to get out of town. Change your hair color. Easy to disappear, right? She's already hidden the dress up here. Remember, so up here she's changed her clothes. She's already changed her clothes. Now she's changing her hair. She's going to look different. It's going to be easier for her to just disappear and start again, right? In case people are looking for her, oh, she looks like this, she looks like this. She's changed now. Changed roles. She looks different. I think this is so she can escape justice, get away, not get caught. And she's thinking about Jack all this time. And Jack is missing. So where is Jack? Lily's changing her appearance, thinking about going home, running away, getting out of this town before she gets caught. She doesn't want to get caught. She's done something wrong. Jim's dead. Rosemary's about to be dead. Where's Jack? And what is the relationship? We keep coming back to this. What is the relationship between Lily and Jack? Do we ever see Lily and Jack in the same place at the same time? No. We don't, do we? Well, maybe we do, but remember, we're in this mirrored room. Remember? Moving across the mirrored room. We talked about the mirrored room here. And we said that in a mirrored room, appearance and reality may be different. We talked about people playing roles, pretending they are people who they are not, changing clothes, changing hair color. What did Jim think when he first saw Jack? Remember his reaction? Remember, first time Jim saw Jack, he says, I've seen that face before. I recognize that face. Thinks Jack looks familiar. Doesn't know Jack at this point. Knows Lily. Right? We've got Lily changing clothes. We have Lily's changing her appearance, her clothes, and her hair color. Jim thinks Lily looks a lot like Jack. What about the scene you're thinking of? Well, what about in the dressing room when Jim is coming for Lily? Lily's talking, looks like to Jack, right? As you look around, she laughed at him. She's talking to a him in the dressing room. And Jim is coming for him, for Jack. He thinks Jack is in the dressing room, right? And when Jim shows up, he's not surprised. He finds what he expects to find. So he expected to find Jack in Lily's dressing room. And he found Jack in Lily's dressing room. What were they doing in there? Well, Lily was taking her dress off. So maybe there was something going on with Jack and Lily, and Jim thought that. And remember, Jim was worried that Jack was going to come between them, right? Nothing would come between Lily and the king, except maybe Jack. Remember we said that? Jack is the only one who could barge in here and cause trouble for these two. So maybe that's what Jim expected, to see them together and say, aha, I knew it. But there's another possibility. What if Lily is looking in the mirror and talking to herself? Lily's in her dressing room, changing her clothes, hiding the dress, and she's in her dressing room, she's got her makeup table, and she's got her mirror, and she's talking to herself. What does that mean? Jim goes to Lily's dressing room expecting to find Jack. And when he gets there, he says, aha, I knew it. I was right. What do you think he found? What if Lily was talking to herself? What does that mean? What's the relationship? What would the relationship be between Lily and Jack?
Lily is Jack.
Lily is Jack. Jack is Lily.
Yeah.
Think about it.
Yeah.
Maybe they're the same person. They're one person. This person who is the best actor anywhere. No one is a better actor. There was no actor anywhere better than the Jack of Hearts. Nobody is better at pretending to be somebody. So good that he could pretend to be a beautiful young girl. Maybe they're the same person. Think about that. Because remember, Jim thinks he looks familiar. We have all these costume changes, Lily changing hair color, Lily taking her dress off and hiding the dress. At the end, Jack's gone, Lily's still there. Wherever we see Lily, we don't see Jack. All right? we have to consider maybe they're the same person. And if I was making the movie, that's how I would do it. They would be the same person. And this mastermind, right, this mastermind of the bank robbers group, that would be the thing. So good at pretending. Can play the male character, the female character, whatever you have to do to get the job done, get that money. We need to think about that. This is the end of the song, and we have more questions than we have answers. So you need to think about answers, okay? For your exam next week, we only have 2 songs. First song here, Lily, Rosemary, and the Jack Rice. You should know the characters, okay? First of all, it's a closed book test, so you cannot bring notes into the test, and you can't look at your phone. So you're going to have to remember these stories, all right? Characters, we know we have the big 4 characters. Know the relationships between them, including what do you think is the relationship between Jack and Lily, all right? You should be able to describe all those characters. If I say, tell me everything you know about Rosemary, well, you can list things. Married to Jim, drinking hard, seeing her reflection in the knife, and tired of the attention, and tired of playing the role of Big Jim's wife, and lots. It's all in there. It's all in the song and in the notes, right? Think about the relationships and the characters. Next thing, we have 2 crimes in this song. We have the bank robbery and we have the murder. Your job, I'm going to ask you, I'll tell you what to expect. I'm going to ask you to provide a theory of the crime. You're going to be a police detective. You need to put somebody in jail or hang them, give them the death penalty, whatever. All right? So, who do you think committed these crimes? Who committed the bank robbery? How did they do it? Why did they do it? Did they have any help doing it? Okay? Who killed June? Who did it? How did they do it? Why did they do it? Did they have help? These kinds of things. You need to explain why you say it. Okay? And I'm only going to give you points for things where your logic makes sense to me. You know what I mean? If you just say something like, well, obviously Rosemary killed Jim because aliens were controlling her. You know what I mean? I don't follow your logic. No point for you. It's a great idea. It's a colorful story. But based on this, I only know the song. I don't know about aliens. You know what I mean? So if you want to talk about aliens, great, but I'm not giving you any points. You know? But if you talked about things like jealousy and revenge and anger, you know what I mean? Things that make sense to me based on the song, you'll get points. Okay? So you need to be able to explain your answer. Just like in real life, if you want to say someone's guilty, you need to explain things like how did they do it, why did they do it, what's the motive, why would they do this, right? So you'll get your points for explaining why you say what you say, okay? And it should be based on the lyrics of the song and what we talked about in class. Understand? There's no correct answer. So in a one sense, there's no correct answer. That might make you comfortable or uncomfortable. There's not a correct answer, but you will get points for explaining why you give the answer you give. Okay, so think about it and plan your answer. I'm going to ask this on your test. So you can plan your answer. How about that? All right? So think about these things. Who did it, how they do it, why they do it, and was there any help? Were people working together, okay, for the 2 crimes? Of course, you need to know the vocabulary. For both songs. We also have Into the Great Wide Open by Tom Petty. Remember that song? Too good, that song. Feels like an eternity ago. Anyway, for both songs, you need to study the vocabulary. And there are files on e-learning with that vocabulary. You guys are AC or something, I don't know, it doesn't matter. I have 3 sections, everybody gets the same information. There's a PPT here with lyrics and vocabulary for Into the Great Wide Open. And there is a lyrics and vocabulary file here for Lily, Rosemary, and the Jack of Hearts. You cannot bring these files into the test, but I suggest you study them. The vocabulary will be things like choose the correct meaning or the correct word, A, B, C, D, E, like multiple choice, or maybe draw a line from the word to the correct meaning, like that, or fill in the blanks. You know, you write the correct word from the words in the box, like that, like typical English vocabulary test. stuff. Okay, so do study the vocabulary for both those songs. Into the Great Wide Open, a much shorter song. Again here, you should think about the characters and their relationship. There's only two. Remember Eddie and his girlfriend? Eddie waited till he finished high school, he went to Hollywood and got a tattoo and met a girl out there with a tattoo too, and the future was wide open. It's a simple story about young people chasing a dream, right? So what you should think about is in my lecture and in the notes that I gave to the PPT, talked a lot about symbols and what they mean, right? Things like getting a tattoo. What does it mean in the song? What's the symbolism? Why does he get a tattoo? We said things like starting a new life, new chapter in life, or just want to be cool. You have a dream to be a rocker, and you think, well, rockers have tattoos, so I'm going to get a tattoo. You know, he meets a girl who has a tattoo too. What does that mean? Well, maybe it means they have the same dream. Maybe it means they have the same way of thinking, same style. They can relate to each other. She understands him, he understands her. They have things in common, etc. There's a bunch of stuff. Basically, every line here. Where's mine?
Teacher.
Yeah.
So the question maybe no correct answer.
Yeah, there's no correct answers,
Yeah.
really. For vocabulary, there's correct answers.
Okay.
Yeah, that's correct or incorrect, right? But for the other ones, think about the symbols and the meanings. Again, let's just pop this open. I gotta watch my time here. I don't want to go over. But things like this is a really short little song, right? So things like getting a tattoo. Well, what does it mean? Going to Hollywood. What is that a symbol of? Right? Usually we think you go to Hollywood, you're chasing a dream, you want to be famous, you want to be an entertainer or be a pop star or whatever, right?